As we know, there is always a risk no matter what we do or where we go. Let it be at home or outside, there is risk everywhere. But according to multiple research, risk percentage has been the highest at workplace. No matter which workplaces, there is always a risk. As we know, workplace safety and health plays a key role in chemical plant in achieving better productivity and good reputation. However, accidents can still occur due to factors such as technical and engineering failures, human errors, and management fault. Now in this presentation, we're going to talk about high-risk workplaces. What is a high-risk workplace? A high-risk workplace involves high-risk activities and processes. Major hazard facilities, construction sites, and sites with mobile plant are a few examples. One of example of high-risk workplace is working at height. Working at a high place is defined as any work performed at a place from which the person will be liable to fall a distance of more than 10 feet or 3 meters. It doesn't matter whether trying to fix a bulb with a ladder, as long as the distance of the workers from the ground is 3 meters, then it is considered as working at high place. Now on to the legal requirement. According to Factory and Machinery Regulation 1970, or in short FMA 1970, any person who commits an offense against these regulations for which no corresponding penalty is provided by the Act shall on conviction be liable to fine not exceeding 1,000 ringgit.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Haris Daniel bin Izwani Masri, and now I will explain to you about the risk and accident that may occur when you are working at a high risk place, mainly working at height. Well, there are various type of hazard when you're working at a high place, but in this video I will explain to you about the type of hazard that involve physical, chemical, psychological, and biological. So without further ado, let's move on to the video.
Chemicals. Chemicals can be defined as the liquid-like particles that existed within our air. There are many types of chemicals, but the one that bring risk to our worker are the ones that affects our surroundings. We take carbon dioxide for an example. If we work at high places, there's a chance that a low quantity amount of oxygen existed and a high density of carbon dioxide formed from a nearby factory. This can lead to suffocation and death to our worker. The most common risks when working at high places are the physical hazards that comes from the worker behavior itself. Without proper training and the lack of equipment, a very high percentage of the likelihood for slip and fall accident may occur. Next are biological hazards that involve the wildlife around us. Safety gears PPE like helmets may give us the chances to protect ourselves from an overhead attack from birds, but the workers are still exposed to the threat of bugs and insects bites. And lastly, psychological hazard may be the highest factor that can lead to an accident, because people that have acrophobia, or known as fear of heights, will lose their focus, and this can lead to panic and anxiety attack.
From that video, we can conclude that working at a high places brings so much risk. and it is dangerous. Therefore, before you start working at a high risk places, I suggest that you have a proper training and a proper equipment before start working at a very risky place.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Fakru Arifin Manu Skanda. My student ID is 2020626252, and now I'm gonna present about the risk or accident that involve in high risk workplace. Let's not beat around the bush. We go to the first point, which is fragile roof. What is fragile roof? Fragile roof is not a specifically roof that been designed to withstand the weight of a person or a load. Okay, we can see this situation at a building site. At that place, we can see that workers work at the high place, and the roof that they stand is made from wood. So it is a risk for letting workers stand at the wooden roof. Next one is unprotected edge, where the edge of surface on which people are working are open. We can see these things at the building site. Or we can take an example from the cleaner. Yes, a cleaner who work on cleaning window at the high building. So when the cleaner working at the high place without a barrier, the risk of the cleaner to fall is increased. So we move to the other point, which is falling material. Object from the height can cause a damage to a person or material. Okay? If the thing hit them. Okay? So, for example, a person who worked at the high place for accidentally drop maybe a screwdriver, right? So the weight of the screwdriver times the acceleration of the object falling down and produce force, and force can cause a damage if hit a person. I cannot imagine what happened next. Okay, maybe next will be history. But seriously, falling object is a big deal. Lastly, we go to the weather condition. The example to elaborate this point is we take a situation at the petroleum plantation, okay, which at the middle of the sea. And at that time it's a rainy day. So imagine that a worker works at high place in a rainy day, which the risk for the worker to sleep, not sleep at the bed, but sleep and fall down from the platform is high. Okay, so that's dangerous. That's very, very dangerous. So we must do something to avoid or prevent all the risks from happening to us or our worker. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aiman Najmi bin Mustafa Kamal. So now I would like to share how the countermeasure to need to be taken to overcome the risk. So the risk in high working place. So the first thing is to overcome the risk is must work in proper PPE. Means is personal protective equipment. For example, in proper PPE in high working place is the harness where is we wear in the body and the layer. which is important in high working place. So another PPE is helmet, glove and shoes. By wearing the proper PPE, it can prevent you fall from the hard working place and die. Make sure you wear PPE in high working place. Second control measure is avoid carrying material in using the ladder. We can use a hoist or chutes. It's more comfortable than using a ladder. It also can prevent the falling material down. And the third is avoid working in high place during bad weather. So the bad weather such as raining, lightning, thunderstorm, we must avoid working at high place in this situation because you may be fall down and slip down and then you maybe die or accident, something else. So make sure you work in high place in the sunny days because it's more suitable for you to work in high place. The last one, make sure the workers have been training before work at the high working place. It's so important because they can use their knowledge in training to adapt in their works. So make sure that all your workers have been training before going to work. That's all for me.